Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I have a couple of really interesting videos if you like stuff about meteors. This one's about as weird as it can get, and I don't know why anybody in their right mind would make it up. So, I don't know, you be the judge. It's from 1883. A meteor as is a meteor. This beats the Texas meteor all to smash. Kingston, New York, May 17th. During the past week, this place has been the scene of considerable excitement. A fiery meteor was seen to drop from the sky into Roundout Creek, and upon examination, a giant sword was found with its hold buried deep in the mud. Upon further examination, the sword was found to be covered with strange hieroglyphics and wholly unlike anything ever before seen and described. It seems to be designed for something more than ordinary hands. So, if you listen to a couple of videos back, I did one. Eve wrote in on a comet from Mars. This guy was hypothesizing that comets could carry more than just, ice and fire. And this kind of, backs it up in a little way if you believe that. But anyway, I would have liked to have seen that. Okay, a meteor worth talking about, and I don't know, it's got to be around the same date. A meteor worth talking about. There being some talk in the city yesterday about the big meteor that passed over Salt Lake night before last. Hop Sing, head man in the city of the Chinese company of that name, became interested in what was said. He began to tell something about a great meteor that fell in China ages ago, and finally said he had it all in a book at his place in Chinatown, and would translate the account to the best of his ability if the reporter would accompany him to his house, an offer which was accepted. As Hop Sing cannot speak English very fluently, even when discoursing on ordinary subjects, it was hard for him to express himself when he tried to translate the account of the strange occurrence recorded by the Chinese scientists. What he was able to impart was briefly as follows. Ages and ages ago, a great meteor fell in China, in the province of Chekiang. It came from the heavens in a slanting direction and was apparently 50 feet in diameter. It lighted the country for a distance of 200 or 300 miles about. It did not explode, but passed into the ground entire. It buried itself in a spur of the Nanling Mountains. On a slope of the mountain it entered was a large village. The meteor passed over this village at a height of about half a mile, and so great was the heat from it that all the buildings in the place burst into flames simultaneously. All the people in the town were roasted, and many in the country in the track of the meteor between the town and the face of the mountain. The acrolite made an immense hole in the side of the mountain, out of which issued flames for several days. Then great volumes of steam poured forth, and finally a large stream of water. The stream of water is still flowing at the present time, and forms one of the tributaries of a river that enters the sea near Ningpo. That now was a meteor worth talking about. So I don't know if anybody's been over to China in that area and knows what he's talking about, or it would be interesting to do some research and see what that looks like on Google Maps, or Google Earth, I mean. Okay, this is the last one, and there are a lot of meteor articles that I have. So back then, that must have been something that was pretty apparent. So this one is the Great Meteor. me blow that up. About 3 o'clock on Monday morning last week, a meteor appeared in western New York, which must have been both very high and very large, for it was seen at Erie and Rochester, places 150 miles apart. The light was nearly as vivid as that of day. One describes it as a vividly luminous body or trail, which almost instantly passed out of sight and was gone. We were convinced that it was a large meteor and expected an explosion. We waited from 3 to 5 minutes when a report burst through the welkin like a piece of heavy ordnance standing within a short distance. There was nothing in it like thunder, but a perfect resemblance to the sound we have named. It shook the house very sensibly, as it did others, in one instance jarring a toothbrush from the window to the floor. Its direction was northerly, and the explosion took place probably over the lake. The people were generally awakened by the report. 2 persons at a barn at the time say it was an oblong body of fire, 8 or 10 inches in diameter and rushing with great velocity. It seemed to approach in a curve, and one exclaimed, "It will strike the barn." It passed over, however, and disappeared about half a mile off. It threw out many sparks or streaks, and made a snapping or grating noise. The long fiery tail separated from the head, which rushed on unbroken, emitting a dark blue flame. 3 minutes elapsed between the disappearance of the meteor and the hearing of the report. It was therefore nearly 40 miles off, and it is supposed 56.4 miles high and 1,070 yards in diameter. Mr. Horace Palmer was on the road from Dunkirk when the meteor appeared and was instantly surrounded with a most painfully vivid light, proceeding from a mass of fluid or jelly-like substance which fell around and upon him, producing a sulphurous smell, a great difficulty of breathing, and a feeling of faintness, with a strong sensation of heat. As soon as he could recover from his astonishment, he perceived the body of the meteor passing above him, opening or seeming to be about a mile high. It then appeared to be in diameter about the size of a large steamboat pipe, near a mile in length. Its dimensions varied, soon becoming first much broader, and then waning away in diameter and length until the former was reduced to about 8 inches and the latter a fourth of a mile, when it separated into pieces which fell to the earth, and almost immediately he heard the explosion, which he said was tremendous. His face had every appearance of having been severely scorched. His eyes were much affected, and he did not recover from the shock it gave to his system for 2 or 3 days. This is really a marvelous story, but Mr. Palmer is a temperate and an industrious man, and a man of integrity, and anyone conversing with him on the subject would be satisfied that he intends no deception, but describes the scene as nearly as possible as it actually appeared. Probably, however, in its agitation at his sudden introduction to such a scene, caused the meteor to be somehow magnified to him. At Salem, an observer stated the meteor to be as large as a house, rather indefinite, but proving it to have been one of extraordinary magnitude. In Chowstake, an observer describes it as 6 or 8 inches in diameter and half a mile long. The report is that a fragment has been found and a foot or more in diameter. So that's just one of the other meteor reports, and like I said, I have a whole bunch more. I'll probably do another video after this, maybe of 4 or 5 different ones, and I've noticed a lot of them get burnt and they see this like jelly water like substance with that sulfur, and it kind of reminded me of Sodom and Gomorrah when I was reading that. But anyway, that's it for today. Gotta go get ready for my Christmas party tonight, and I hope you all are having a great day and a fun night tonight too. See you later.